Hello everyone, and welcome to Earth Archives. When was the last time you truly felt your birthday? Not just scrolling through a few wishes, not just casually acknowledging another year passed, but really feeling it, like when you were a child, feeling your heartbeat, the thrill of balloons, cake, and all eyes on you trembling slightly. Do you remember? Remember to subscribe, like, and share this with that friend who keeps saying, "I feel so lost."
Very few can answer that. As adults, birthdays almost become part of daily life, reminding us that time is passing. But without the sacred ritual of childhood, you wake up, maybe get a few messages, a call from your mom, and life goes on. You say, "I don't care, it's just another day," but is it really? Behind that indifferent facade lies a quiet story.
So those who treat birthdays as ordinary days, they're not indifferent, but
Exactly. They're often the most sensitive and reflective people. They've learned to hide their expectations because past disappointments taught them not to hope too much. Psychologically, a birthday acts like an emotional mirror. It reflects your attitude toward life, your relationship with being seen, and whether you can be comfortably seen. When someone says, "I don't care about birthdays," sometimes it means, "I don't need validation from others," but more often it really means, "I no longer expect anything."
so birthdays reveal where we stand between maturity and emotional withdrawal.
Exactly. Birthdays often reveal which stage you are in between maturity and retreat. Some people move out of childhood excitement not because of sadness, but because of peace. They find meaning in quiet moments of everyday life. For them, happiness isn't limited to one day. Life itself is the celebration.
But some feel uneasy about birthdays. Is it because they're getting older?
Not entirely. The subtle unease birthdays bring often comes from memory. They remind us of moments we were overlooked, or times we cared but were ignored. So we stop saying, "I hope someone remembers," and instead say, "It's just another day." Psychologically, this is a protective mechanism called emotional self-protection. After repeated disappointment, the brain lowers expectations to avoid being hurt again. It sounds sad, but it's actually a high-level emotional wisdom, a way to balance pain with resilience.
So does that mean happiness gets worn down over time?
Yes, over the long term, hearts that once burned brightly become cautious, like spectators walking through their own lives. Polite, orderly, but slightly detached. Think of how many people say, "I don't celebrate my birthday," but quietly replay the day at night. Who didn't send a message, who forgot, who said nothing. We all do this. Even those who claim indifference still care deep down, because caring is human. Pretending not to care is itself a form of caring, just compressed under a calm exterior.
So the psychological meaning behind birthdays is deeper than we imagine?
Yes. Psychologists call this avoidant recognition behavior. It means we convince ourselves we don't need attention because we fear not getting it. This is common in people who were taught from a young age, emotional needs are trouble. Be strong, don't rely on others. They would rather have no needs than risk being ignored again. So when you meet someone indifferent about birthdays, don't assume they're cold. They may simply have reconciled with disappointment, substituting control for expectation.
Does the calm that comes from control come at a cost?
It does. Behind the words, "It's just an ordinary day," lies a universal emotional truth. We all long to be seen. Not praised, not celebrated with noise and fanfare, but genuinely seen.
Then what is the true symbolism of a birthday?
A birthday symbolizes that this day belongs to you, not because of what you've achieved, nor because of who you belong to, but simply because you exist. For many people, this reminder is complex. Some feel gratitude, some feel loneliness, and most often, it's a mixture of both. Birthdays remind you how far you've come and how far you can still go. This is a psychological insight that most people overlook.
As adults, how should we approach birthdays in a healthy way?
In adulthood, many quietly struggle internally. They want to be noticed, but fear appearing too needy. This tension is reflected in how they treat birthdays. There's also a deeper psychological pattern. People who were taught from childhood to be strong internalize the message, your happiness can wait, gradually downplaying their own needs, becoming the type who remembers others' birthdays but forgets their own. Over time, birthdays become insignificant, and even when someone celebrates them, they feel uncomfortable. This awkwardness isn't humility, it's emotional fatigue.
So birthdays are a paradox of emotional maturity.
Exactly. The more emotionally independent a person is, the harder it is to accept love without reservation. Birthdays become neutral territory. What should be a time of emotional flow gets replaced by rationality and practicality. You say it's okay just like this, but behind that calm tone, your mind is processing countless emotions. Nostalgia for childhood joy, subtle regrets in relationships, gratitude for being alive, and gentle yearning, a longing for effortless, pure happiness. Even if you think you've grown up and no longer care about birthdays, deep down, you still remember the feeling of being celebrated unconditionally.
How does psychology explain this phenomenon?
Psychology calls it temporal self-awareness. Birthdays naturally prompt reflection, looking back at yourself a year ago and measuring the gap between your ideals and reality. When that gap becomes apparent, the birthday acts like a mirror, revealing the cracks between expectation and reality. Many people prefer to downplay the day rather than confront it. This isn't indifference, it's the gentlest form of self-protection. Birthdays feel strange not because you don't care, but because internally you're saying, "Give me some space to organize my timeline."
Is it normal to feel a sense of strangeness on your birthday?
Absolutely. If you feel odd on your birthday, like you should feel something but don't blame yourself. You're simply aware. You realize time is moving, and the feeling of being acknowledged has changed. Birthdays are no longer just cake and candles. They're about meaning. As we grow older, birthdays become more personal. In childhood, a birthday is the world recognizing you. In adulthood, it's you recognizing yourself. It's no longer about who shows up, but about how authentically you are living.
So does our attitude toward birthdays actually reflect maturity?
Yes. Most people no longer make a big deal out of birthdays because they've learned to reconcile with themselves. Yet deep down, they still hope someone remembers. This is the paradox of emotional growth. You can feel content yet still crave connection. You can be grounded yet still long for the light of being seen. Living your birthday as an ordinary day doesn't mean numbness. It means learning to find gentle joy in everyday life. This is the most tender kind of celebration, silent yet real. Next, let's talk about those who treat their birthdays as just another ordinary day. It's not that they reject happiness, they're redefining it. For them, birthdays no longer need external noise or validation. Joy can come from internal self-recognition. They might choose to take a solitary walk, cook a meal for themselves, or sit quietly in a cafe, reading a good book and reflecting on the past year. These small, ordinary acts are, in themselves, the deepest form of celebration.
So this is a shift from external celebration to internal acknowledgement?
Exactly. As we grow, we gradually realize that gifts, parties, and social media wishes that once made us feel special eventually lose their luster. What replaces them is an inner sense of alignment. Did I live authentically this year? Did I grow? Did I show up in my own life? Birthdays are no longer just about noise. They're moments of self-reflection, a quiet form of self-celebration.
Does this quiet form of celebration have value?
Absolutely. In psychology, this is called the self-concordance motive. When your actions align with your values, even without applause, you feel deep satisfaction. These birthdays don't need ribbons or candles, yet they bring a calm, fulfilling sense of happiness. They teach us that joy doesn't need to be arranged externally. It flows from inner acknowledgement.
But some people may seem calm while still secretly hoping to be seen, right?
Exactly. Even on the calmest birthdays, emotional undercurrents remain. Some quietly hope someone will remember them spontaneously. noticing their existence without reminders. Psychology calls this the need to gain new security. We learn to rely on ourselves, yet deep down we still hope someone can see through our armor. In this sense, birthdays become a silent psychological test. Who remembers? Who cares?
Wow, so birthdays are actually a form of self-dialogue?
Exactly. Birthdays aren't just celebrations. They're a combination of time, pressure, and self-reflection. They symbolize progress and reflection. If the past year went smoothly, a birthday is a milestone. If the year was chaotic or stagnant, a birthday becomes a mirror, reminding you of unresolved issues. That's why many people blur this day, not out of denial, but as self-protection, waiting until they're ready to face themselves.
So living an ordinary birthday can actually reflect maturity?
Yes, it's a quiet form of maturity. You might choose to do simple things on this day, write down your feelings, reflect on growth, even appreciate small joys. The meaning of a birthday becomes internalized, no longer dependent on external validation, but created and felt by yourself.
And what about those who still want to be seen?
Even if you're very independent, deep down you hope someone notices your efforts and quiet growth. This longing isn't superficial. It's an essential part of human nature. We want to be genuinely seen, and birthdays happen to be a day that reminds us, you are seen.
I get it. Birthdays aren't just about cake and gifts, they're about acknowledging existence.
Exactly. Birthdays remind us we exist, and that time is moving. For some, an ordinary birthday is protective. For others, a quiet birthday is celebratory. Either way, it deserves respect. Birthdays are never just celebrations. They're an art of reconciling with yourself and affirming your existence.
So how should we treat those who say, I don't celebrate birthdays?
Don't assume they're indifferent. They may be people who've been hurt before, wrapping sensitivity in calmness. A simple happy birthday, a message, or a call often matters more than any extravagant party. It's a gentle reminder that they are seen and valued.
So we should cherish every birthday, whether it's loud and festive or quiet and calm?
Exactly. The key is to understand and respect different ways of celebrating. Some people enjoy grand celebrations. Others prefer quiet reflection. Both are authentic expressions of self. Birthdays, in essence, are a philosophy of life. They teach us to find joy in the everyday, to feel the extraordinary in the ordinary, and to quietly acknowledge ourselves.
Then, how can we celebrate our birthdays in the most meaningful way?
The most meaningful way is actually very simple. Understand your own inner needs. Do you need excitement, friends, and wishes, or do you need solitude, reflection, and gratitude? Spending the day according to your heart is the truest and deepest celebration. You don't need to worry about what others think, nor pursue any particular form. This day is a gift to yourself.
It sounds like birthdays have also become a tool for self-awareness?
Exactly. Psychologically, it's a point of self-reflection, helping you review your growth, challenges, regrets, and gratitude over the past year. Celebrating an ordinary birthday doesn't mean avoidance. It's choosing to face yourself in a private space, acknowledging your efforts and existence. This inner celebration is deeper than any external applause.
I think I understand now. A birthday is really a gentle self-embrace.
Exactly. Even if you choose to keep it low-key, that gentleness and recognition are still there. Birthdays remind you, I have lived, I have tried, I have existed. Sometimes you don't need cake or candles. A deep breath, a memory, or a smile can celebrate an entire year of life.
So finally, how should we treat our own birthdays and those of others?
To treat yourself means allowing yourself to spend your birthday however you wish, festively or quietly, without guilt. To treat others means respecting their way of celebrating. A sincere wish is often warmer than any party. Remember, birthdays are not just about counting age. They remind us to feel every moment of existence.
Listening to you, I feel like going home and quietly celebrating my own birthday.
Haha, then do it. Treat yourself as the most important guest. On this day, you are the protagonist, and your existence deserves all the gentleness and joy.
Friends, if this video resonates with you, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about, so they too can understand the true meaning of a birthday.
Exactly. Every quiet moment, every time someone truly sees you, is the most precious gift. Thank you for joining us today to rediscover the meaning of birthdays.
Then, may each of our birthdays allow us to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, and to feel authenticity in the quiet moments.
May every today be treated with gentleness. Happy birthday, not just to yourself, but as a heartfelt embrace of life itself.
If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe, like, and share it with someone you care about, so more people can understand the true meaning of birthdays.
Exactly. Every quiet moment, every time someone truly sees you, is the most precious gift. Thank you for joining us today in rediscovering the meaning of birthdays.